Hello guys and welcome back to Disney Els. Today's video is going to be a review of Toy Story 4. So there are many spoilers ahead. This is a spoiler review. There are going to be spoilers. Haven't said spoilers enough. I'm hoping you guys have all seen it by now because you need to see this film. Let's get into it. I have notes made because I don't want to forget anything. I have only seen the film once, even though I do have the book of the film, so I've been kind of reliving it as much as possible. So let's just dive right in with a general blanket statement. I love this film, but it's not the best Toy Story. My current ranking, and I'd be interested to know what your ranking is between the Toy Stories. 3 I think is the best, 2 is second best, then it's 4, and then it's 1. The only reason why 1 is the worst for me is because it's old now, not just animation wise, but I mean because I love Jessie and stuff so much and they're really part of the gang for me. I missed them so much when I watched Toy Story 1, and I was always secretly really scared of Sid as a kid, so yeah, not my favourite. I was expecting this film to be really super duper sad. But honestly, I cried a lot more at 3 than I did at 4. When they are going into the furnace, it's awful because you see them literally give up. You're feeling betrayed by Lotso, who you feel would have a good heart, but he actually doesn't in the end. It's awful. So yeah, you feel betrayed, and then you see them lose hope and you're like, oh my goodness, but they're accepting their fate, so it's really cute at the same time. They're all holding hands. So there's that kind of sad. And then you get the absolute sheer joy and relief of the aliens saving them with the claw, which is beautiful, you know, poetic writing. I love it. And then obviously Andy and all of that and whatever. So anyway, enough about 3, my favourite one. With 4, it was a bit less emotional because you had different types of emotion, and not as many different types. You had obviously the bit with Bo at the start where she is leaving. I think that bit was super sad. A beautiful opening to the film. The joy of when they meet again, which I found really sad, that they were meeting again, but Bo is completely different to who she was. I thought that was really sad. And then you obviously have all of the stuff at the end. Now, we'll get to that. First off, the animation was absolutely incredible. I loved seeing my favourite characters in such high definition. Literally loved it. In terms of the storyline, okay, I missed the old characters. I know everyone's gonna say this, but I feel it didn't feel like a Toy Story. It felt like a bit of a Woody story, which is fine. But I just felt slightly misled by the trailers having lots of the old gang in, the posters featuring the old gang quite a lot and stuff like that. So I felt a bit oh, because for example, when Duke Kaboom is making the jump, that could have been Slinky. Slinky has been jumping from Andy's window to Sid's window or whatever, you know, he's done long jumps, that's Link, and he never loses his spring. There's a certain point where they could have gone back to get the old gang. I also kind of felt like Buzz and Jessie, we love that in 3 they basically get together. So I really wanted there to be a moment where Jessie wanted to go with Buzz before he jumps out of the RV, and maybe he said no, you have to look after the gang or whatever. And then I feel it would have reinforced and made better the part where she gets the sheriff's badge at the end, because she becomes the sheriff because she's been looking after them. Do you see what I mean? I just feel I love that she got the sheriff badge though. But yeah, I just feel there should have been something more between Buzz and Jessie, because I was so happy that they got together in 3, so I thought they would have been together a bit more. However, I absolutely loved the new toys. Duke Kaboom, hilarious. I loved it. He's pouting and he's just oh, really funny. I loved his little backstory. Dijon. I've said that multiple times since seeing the film. I loved Ducky and Bunny. Bunny is one of my absolute new faves ever, for sure. I loved obviously how we know that they are now Billy Goat Gruff and they're girls. I think that's a really cool twist. Yeah, I really loved all the new characters, but I expected that from Toy Story because every single time they introduce anyone new, well, to be honest, all of Pixar, every single time they introduce new people, I love them. Just Finding Dory and Hank and stuff like that. You always love the new characters they give you. You never feel why are they getting in the gang? You feel like, yeah, you know? I loved the animation on Gabby Gabby with her eyes. I don't know if you guys noticed, it's like they used to do like a baby Annabelle. When she let down, she would have closed eyes, and then you lift her up and she'd slowly open them. So like the animation on her, I really appreciated how they did that, especially the moment where she goes back to being a doll because she wants to be found by the girl. That's another really emotional bit for me, actually. When she shuffles out and she sits and she instantly turns into a toy again. I absolutely love that bit of animation. She just sits as a toy and it's incredible. And then obviously she's found by the little girl and like they're crying and it's just like, it's so beautiful. And then to be reunited with her parents, I thought was just like so beautiful. So I really enjoyed that. Oh, also about that Gabby Gabby storyline, to be fair, so quite a few bits of the storyline I felt were really unexpected. I initially was like, oh, I know everything that's gonna happen, they're gonna meet at the antique store, blah blah blah. Like even in the previews, like I chat with my friends and we managed to kind of gauge what was gonna happen, but we didn't at all. Like the fact that she then wasn't in the antique store, the fact that you had Gabby Gabby and she wanted the voice box, like that whole thing of wanting the voice box I think was absolutely genius. Through it all, that's been the thing that communicates with the human. Like when he's found by Bonnie and he's hung on the tree, I think he says reach for the sky or there's a snake in my boot or something, but it catches Bonnie's attention. That's when she takes Woody home and he gets to meet Buttercup. Like, do you see what I mean? I just feel like the voice box has been a key thing through it all and we didn't even notice. The bit that made me really sad was when he lets his voice box be taken, because it shows that he's like fully given up, because he feels like he doesn't have a purpose anymore, because he doesn't have Andy anymore, basically. You know, there isn't a kid that really loves him. And I think that's really realistic, don't get me wrong. Like, I think that's brilliant, because Bonnie's favourite toy wouldn't be a cowboy necessarily, it would be a cowgirl, you know? So I think that's really clever, and you know, Woody isn't going to be everyone's favourite toy. Like, so I just think that that is really clever and I loved it. Oh, I think I may have spoken too soon on the emotions thing, because now as I'm thinking about the storyline of Toy Story 4, this was emotional about the humans, because when you see Bonnie run into her room because she doesn't want to go to school, that literally broke me. Like when she's on the floor crying because she really doesn't want to go, like I can relate, like, and I just thought that that was the saddest thing ever. Then when she sat on her own and like bless Woody, like I felt emotional for Woody, like on his behalf, because Woody is so caring that he has tried his best every step of the way, and so he puts everything on the line to go to school with Bonnie. Like, I just think that's the perfect bit of story there. I absolutely loved how hilarious Buttercup was. Like, I wanted more Buttercup and I feel like I just about got enough. I absolutely loved Let's Send Dad to Jail. Like, I just thought a lot funnier. This Toy Story 4 was definitely a lot more like laugh out loud funny. Laugh out loud funny. Combat Carl waiting for his high five, like just geniusly hilarious. Forky as a character was just hilarious. I love how they toyed with the idea of what makes a toy. How is he alive? And like, I love that the toys are like, I don't know, like, how are you alive? Like, I love that. I just thought that was a really clever new dynamic that we haven't seen before. I love how when Bo and Woody met again, they can't speak initially and they're just put together by a child, and that to me showed that they were meant to be together. A child, a random child, has put them together, and I didn't see that scene coming, the like how they met scene. I thought it would be, you know, like a running towards each other so happily scene, you know, seeing her in the distance, but it wasn't. And I really love that it wasn't, because it reminds you that they're toys, and I just thought it was brilliant. I don't know if you guys know this, I'm hoping you do, because I feel like it made it so much better. The guy who voiced Mr. Potato Head sadly passed away, and his family members asked if there was any way that he could still be in the film as the voice of Mr. Potato Head. So they gathered all of the old like voice recordings and stuff from like video games and films, and so it's still his voice, and I just, oh, that makes me want to cry because I think that's so beautiful. And that made it forgivable that the old gang didn't have many lines, because I would rather have less lines and it be the original rather than more lines and it be a new voice. Okay, so let's talk about the ending quickly. The end. Nobody liked that ending, because you're not meant to like the end, because it's bittersweet. Like, it's the realization that Woody isn't always going to be the favorite toy, you know? Like, all along we're like, he's Andy's favorite toy. Like, even with Buzz coming in, we're like, yeah, but he loves Woody, right? You know, like, their bond is what all of the Toy Stories have kind of been based on. So it's really a bitter pill to swallow to realise that Woody doesn't feel like he belongs anymore. It's a shame for Bonnie, because like Woody is the most loyal, amazing toy any kid could ask for. So I feel like, you're lost, Bonnie. But of course she's gonna love Jessie. Of course she is. So, and also I loved that it was kind of like, it was girl power, wasn't it? With Bo and Jessie, and with Jessie and the sheriff badge. I just loved it, guys. I did. I wanted more from the goodbye scene from the gang in terms of the end. I think beautiful writing with the "she'll be okay, sheriff." You think he's talking about Bo, and then he's actually talking about Bonnie, and I just think it's absolutely beautiful. I think the gang have always kind of seen this coming, like since Toy Story 2, when he wants to leave and go and be a collectible toy in Japan, and he sort of wants to stay with Jessie and stuff. Like, I feel like this was a natural thing that was always kind of gonna happen. The gang were gonna end up away from Woody, just because of who Woody is. Like, he's always been toying with two parts of himself, I think. The loyal to Andy toy, and then the adventurous cowboy. So I think this was the perfect end, even though it was really bittersweet and horrible, and I hated it. And yeah, I just felt like they could have made more out of the goodbyes with the rest of the gang. Like, Slinky is Woody's dog. Like, they've been best pals like since the start. I just felt like there should have been a bit more there. I would have been able to deal with that if in the end credits scene, here's what I wanted from it, okay guys? I wanted, because this is definitely gonna be the last Toy Story, they said that about 3, but okay, I wanted the end credits scenes to be Bonnie growing up and eventually passing the gang down to her son or daughter or whatever. And I wanted it to be seen through holidays to the RV park. Like, I wanted her to keep coming back so that the gang could see each other, because at the end of Toy Story 3, Barbie and stuff were like separate, but they kept in touch via the backpack notes. So I feel a bit like cheated. Like, I want to know. Like, I feel like this was meant to be the film to tie up all the loose ends, but the loose ends are not tied for me. He's away from the gang. How are they going to communicate? How are they going to see each other? I just feel like I wish they would have sorted that out. It was weird how much human interaction we had this time. I really liked it though. Like the GPS, I think it was Trixie doing the voice of the GPS and stuff like that. Like, I think, yeah, the toys would be more risky and do stuff like that. Like, especially if they knew that their toy friends were in danger. I also felt like, yeah, they just did a lot more with the humans in this one, which I just think added a different dynamic. I personally was a bit like, about the skunk mobile with Bo Peep, purely because I love seeing the toys move under traffic cones, under cups. Like, that's how they've always moved around, so I found it a bit weird. Like, I understand that if she's been out and a lost toy for so long, she would have a way of getting around, but I just felt like that shouldn't have been the way. It's a little bit of a cop-out, I thought, but that's fine. I still love the film, guys. Okay, let's talk about underlying messages. I don't know if any of you guys felt this as well, and let's get a little bit deep here. Like, there were underlying messages, of course, of love and friendship and loyalty and generosity and empathy, like that kind of stuff. But one major thing I really want to talk about is suicide. I don't know if anyone felt this, but like the song, I Can't Let You Throw Yourself Away, and it's like, don't you want to see the sun come up each morning? Don't you want to see the sun go down each day? I'm like, yeah. Like, you know, I just thought, like, it made me really emotional, because I don't know, that just hits me somewhere, and I just thought, I would mention it because I think it adds a new dynamic to the film. And I think, you know, a lot of people were like, oh, why is Woody trying to save Forky? And I honestly think it's because he's a nice guy. He's so caring, he's so invested, and I think, yes, part of it is to do with like the obsession with keeping Bonnie happy because he wants to do all he can as a toy because he used to make Andy so happy, so he's my camera just ran out of space because, you know, I'm just really getting into this review, guys. I think it's a very key thing to notice, really, because I think it adds a new sadness but also a new happiness because Woody's doing all he can to save this toy he barely knows, and I just think it's beautiful. One thing I would like to query is, why is Buzz suddenly a bit dumb? Like, the inner voice stuff. So when it first started, I thought they were making a joke about the inner voice, as in like they were making a joke about like animators and stuff. Like when Buzz is like, oh, who do you think it is? I thought they were going to make some kind of joke referencing Tom Hanks or Tim Allen or like whoever. And then I understood what they were getting at, and I was like, okay, why does Buzz have to not know what an inner voice is? I just felt like he could have still used the inner voice. Like, I thought that bit was really funny, like how he always like referred to it. But I feel like he didn't have to not know what it was. I feel like Woody could have just been like, oh yeah, if you ever get stuck, just, that's why we have a button, you know? Like, so I felt like that was a bit weird to make it like, Buzz was a bit like naive and dumb and weird, but it's fine. Like, I still found it hilarious. I wish that as he was flicking through all of the options, he would have turned to Spanish for one of them, just because it would have been funny. But yeah, I still found that bit absolutely hilarious. Thanks, inner voice, like really good. But I just think he could have known what it was. I don't know. I feel like they should have called this film Woody's Roundup. Hello? Like, rounding up Woody's story. I just feel like it would have made a lot more sense. Because it's not really a Toy Story, because you don't get enough from the other characters. It's Woody's story. To round up this review, I feel like Woody's departure from Bonnie was a very natural progression for me. I feel like he always wanted to leave but didn't because of his connection with Andy. So now that that's gone and Bonnie doesn't need him, he doesn't need to stay. The person he has a connection with is Bo Peep. So I think Woody is a very loyal and loving character. So yeah, I feel like my connection with Woody is even deeper now. Like, I just think he got even better through this film. So I really super duper enjoyed this film. So it was hilarious. So the songs were great. The whole soundtrack was great. I just thought it was brilliant. Ducky and Bunny stand out for me as funny as hell. Like, it was just so funny. Blush rush. I can't wait to see it again. I've only seen it once, so this may be a very rash review, and it may end up being my favourite Toy Story, but I don't think so, because Toy Story to me is the whole gang, not just Woody and Bo and a little bit of Buzz and a little sprinkling of Jessie, you know? I just feel like I wanted more. I don't want that to be the end. I think a lot of people don't want that to be the end. But anyway, please give it a like if you liked it. Feel free to leave a comment down below letting me know your ranking of the Toy Story films and whether or not you liked Toy Story 4. I don't think anyone liked the ending. It's bittersweet, that's the point, and I love it. I love it because I hate it. Please subscribe if you want to subscribe for weekly videos every Friday at 6 PM. I do music under Ellie and Nikon on Spotify and Apple Music and all of that. If you want to go check out my tunes, music is my dream. She's got a dream. Love you guys. See you later. Bye.